Hello and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Michelle. Today we'll be reading some of your American Girl and collector-related horror stories. Today we are in the most 2010s looking AGtube backdrop. I finally managed to put up lights in this room. So today we are back here because the living room got a little too crazy last time. Unfortunately though, you might hear some noises downstairs. Don't mind them. They're just committing anarchy. It's probably fine.
Michelle's gone. Time to start my anarchy.
So the first one I'm going to start off with is from Way Too Many Dolls, and this is the confessions I got on YouTube. She said, "My cat pooped on my doll's hair. A few years ago I was doing a parachute test. I chucked a doll off the porch and she got beheaded." Oh, that's concerning. I hope she's okay. "I was doing gymnastics by flipping my doll in the air. I fumbled the catch and beheaded that doll too. It cracked in a way where she would have to have her head glued on again. I tossed another doll to the bottom of the bunk bed from the top one and she lost a leg." And this person also kind of notes that these are multiple stories that I just read, and the first one happened to a Journey girl, the second a My Life As, the third is one of the bigger Lollaloopsies, and the fourth was a Welly Wisher. Oh gosh, wow, a lot of dolls beheaded. None of them are American Girl, but I also don't really think that makes it any better. I hope they somehow ended up being okay, I guess, after all that. Also, for the first story, it doesn't say, but did you also end up getting the cat poop out of the doll's hair? Because that would also be another concern too. So the next horror story is from Potograph AG. She says, "Here's an interesting horror story. My sister and I have been dressing our dolls together and we left one on the floor, and when we came back, my cat had pooped in their hair. We washed it out, but that poor doll's hair's never been the same." No! Like, I swear, all these stories involve dolls getting pooped on for some reason. But yeah, that's really disappointing that her hair still hasn't been the same since that point, and it's really, especially if it's like an American Girl doll too, like those are really expensive, so it'd probably be especially frustrating to have that happen. But I guess that's kind of a lesson to not leave your dolls out if you have pets. I've seen all kinds of like atrocities with animals. There was like a Facebook post I saw too, where there was a summer doll that someone was repairing and the dog had apparently gotten to it and tore up the whole body. Very tragic, very upsetting. Okay, so Gryffindor Dolls says, "My cousin burnt all her dolls and doll stuff instead of selling it. I hate to see what my face looked like." What? Yeah, sorry. Just getting my composure. It's fine. It's fine.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But like, genuinely, why would she do that? I that kind of baffles me. Like, you know, if you're done with your dolls, you could just sell them, and some other kid or adult might really like them, and might get a lot of genuine joy out of them.
So, just editing this, and I would also like to add that this confession reminds me a lot of the Instagram post on the screen where somebody had taken a picture of a dumpster where a doll was tossed out, and this whole idea of like consumerism and like wastefulness and how willing we are to just throw away things that not only American Girl dolls are not only expensive, but also like they're very valuable, like, playthings, like, just like any other toy is. And I literally did a whole project my freshman year of college talking about consumerism and throwaway culture.
Okay, so the next story on YouTube is from Always AG200, and she says, "My dear mother gave me her old Pleasant Company Kirsten when I was like 4. This was my first 18-inch doll, and I was super excited. But as you can imagine, giving a doll with a glued-on wig to a 4-year-old is not a good idea. You guessed it, the wig ripped right off." And years later, when I was about 9, her leg got really loose and my dog ran over her and her leg fell off. Oh my gosh. Poor Kirsten. At this point, I had been so annoyed with her loose leg that in my storyline where all my dolls were school friends instead of some of them being sisters like they are now. She was the bully character. Just a side note, that just sounds like a very typical child thing to do. Now I don't know what I was thinking, but I made it that she had her leg amputated, but I realized I was too harsh and changed it to she moved away, and her friend became the new bully. That was when I got Bailey, and I write little stories about my dolls, and Bailey became best friends with my favorite doll at the time, Ruby. I managed to reattach her leg with a piece of crumpled tin foil connected to the leg to her body, but she was really fragile. And completely bald. Anyway, it's been a couple of years. I'm an AGTuber now, and I see dolls of less of a toy and more like an incredible thing to collect. I reattached Kirsten's leg. If you want me to ask how, go ahead, but I just made it up. And rewigged her to make her a boy doll. Caleb is yet to be introduced, but there you go. You know he exists. That was less of a horror story and more of a life story, but there you go. No, thank you for sharing. That was a really good story, and I find it especially interesting that you didn't like the doll, so you just made her the bully. And I've also seen like so many different creative things that people would do as well to reattach loose limbs, not knowing that you can restring the American Girl doll, and also send it to the doll hospital. So the whole tinfoil thing is probably not the worst thing I've seen. Okay, so now we are moving on to the stories I got from Instagram. So Sana and Gabriella responded, ordered a Rebecca Ann book on eBay, and came with no wrapping and a face with a deep gash. That is like genuinely frustrating too, and I don't really know how much you probably spent on the doll, especially if she came with a book too. I kind of get from that impression that she was supposed to be a bit newer in quality. But that really sucks, and I really hope you actually raise that as a concern with the eBay seller. So Allianz Stop Motion says, like 4 years ago, I really wanted a Truly Me 55 doll. I found a perfect one on Facebook Marketplace, and my mom had a friend who could pick it up for me. Unfortunately, after she picked up the doll and paid for it, she left her car somewhere and it got broken into. No. And a few things, including my doll, were stolen. In the end, I ended up ordering the doll from online, and that's the one I have today. I still wonder about the doll I could have had. Oh my gosh, that is literally so unfortunate that happened, and that is so frustrating. Like, to literally go through the whole process of actually picking up a doll you want and then somebody breaks into somebody else's car. I'm really sorry that happened to you. And I'm really glad that you ended up getting the 55 you wanted at the very end. So that is all the stories that I've received so far. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Please, almost at 700 subscribers, which is exciting. Also, make sure, kids, that your pets stay away from your dolls. Okay, bye.